grandparenthood. What I want to say when it comes to grandparenthood, I want to just define this. I don't mean that you have grandkids. What I mean is perhaps you're at the stage where you are preparing for retirement, or you're already in retirement. You're an empty nester. In other words, your kids are outside of your home. You're watching them grow. Perhaps they have started having children, but you're just watching them excel in life, and you're taking far more a position of an instructor and coach with suggestions more than a parent who's going, this is what you're going to do. You're on that side of things, and you're seeing it progress. And here's what I want to say about this season and stage. It is here that we, and I'm saying this because all of us will get here one day, we must embrace God's multi-generational purpose for our family here. If you're in this stage of life, we have to talk about multi-generational purposes. Our God sees our individual needs and our individual purpose that he created for us, but he is the God of multi-generations. And it's at this stage that we have to start building towards transition and preparing to hand off and bless the younger generation. This is a joy-filled party season, but it's also filled with some sadness. I'll explain it this way. I was talking to Greg in preparation for today, and I said, in studying this, I said, I now realize what I asked of you when I asked for Nicole's hand in marriage. And God, what he required of Greg, he's now going to require of me twofold, because I have two little girls. When I came to Greg, think about this for a moment. If you're in this season, I'm not just talking about kids, I'm talking about maybe you built a business or a ministry, or you've built something in your life that is of value, that is prominent, that is amazing, and the Lord would ask you to give this with blessing to the next generation. Greg and Michelle, they raise an infant little girl into a young lady. They are with her when she is sick and she's feverish, and they're sleeping in that uncomfortable recliner chair all night so that she can sleep and they get no sleep. They are feeding her, because if they don't feed her, she's not going to make it. They're changing her diaper. They are with her in the highs of life, celebrating birthdays and ceremonies and excitement. And they're with her, holding her and crying with her when she experiences the losses in life and heartache. And they do all of this work, blood, sweat, and tears, and they raise this little girl. And then all of a sudden, some guy comes in with a smile and charisma. And he goes, this girl's amazing. She's built different. And then I go, can I have her hand? And Greg has a choice here to go, no. Because this is what I made and what I built. She's in my house. She's my daughter. And he has the choice to either hold control and authority, or to release what he raised and to see the continuation of God's dream manifest and move forward. And at this stage, it's filled with joy. When we got married, it was a party. We had a fun ceremony. We're celebrating with our friends. There was so much joy. But you can't tell me that some of those tears was recognizing the end of an era. Some of you have already handed off your daughters or handed out your sons to marriage, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's joy in it, but you're also going, man, this is an end of a season. And you have the ability to either choose control or the continuation of God's dream, but you cannot have both. And if Greg did not give Nicole's hand to me in marriage, he would not have his two granddaughters. You can keep what you have, or you can trust that what God is calling you to release is going to lead to a bigger and better dream that you could not possibly fathom or imagine. We have to come back to the principle of leaving and cleaving. A man will leave his father and mother and join to his wife. And the two, I didn't join Greg and Michelle's home. Nicole and I made our own home. I'm their son. She is a daughter to my parents, but we are not in their households. We are building our own healthy home. And I just want to lay before, it is in our generation right now, the younger generation has, in the culture, they build like foolish builders. They have a disdain for the older generation, and they're just, well, these guys are backwards. They don't know what they're talking about. Let's just push them out of the way and let's build our own thing. And if you so dishonor, you will be able to have authority and control. A young man has strength, but in their ignorance and strength, they will build something else. But if there's no honor, there is no inheritance, which means you're starting from ground zero. Which means for me, I want to stand on the shoulders of my fathers and I want to take ground that they've never even dreamed to take. But if I dishonor them, I'm speaking to the younger generation for a moment, if we dishonor our forefathers and what they built, what that means is we have to take steps back and refight the ground that they already took just to get back to even. But if we honor them and we take all the godly things that came from that generation, not because it's what they built, but it's what God built through these men and women. If we take what they built, we stand on their shoulders and we build from one degree of glory to the next. This is called generational wealth biblically. So the older generation, though, if you see the younger generation as a threat who is taking something of value to you, they're not pushing you out. They are embracing the call of God on their life. And so if the younger generation dishonors the older generation, we have to start from ground zero. But if the older generation does not give and bless to the younger generation, the dream of God will die with you. And we have to start again. Malachi chapter 4, verse 6, it says that the children's heart would turn to the father and the father's heart to the children. We're talking about a multi-generational acknowledgement of going, I choose to honor you and I choose to release authority to you. When Greg released Nicole's hand into mine, I wasn't sharing with him. She is now my wife. So you go, does that mean he's losing authority? Absolutely. I need to go back to the individual purpose and calling. Just because you are losing a role or a position does not mean you've lost the call or the work that God has called you to. That when God calls you to release, it doesn't mean he's calling you to retire. Oh, that we would have men and women who die with their boots on. You say, I can't believe God would ask me to raise something up and to release it. And again, I'm not just talking about kids, I'm talking about the things that you are building in your life. You have to raise those things up, pour out your blood, sweat, and tears, and then release them. And if you do not, the dream will die there. But if both generations acknowledge one another and we embrace, not resist, the multi-generational purposes of God, we will see his faithfulness and grace go to our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids and so on.